Well, this is what intellectual discourse should be, right? We always have different opinions and views, but we always maintain the harmonious well-being of the discussion, right? Very good. So, next question, please. Sorry. After this, I think we will collect the question first, 2 or 3 questions, then the speaker will address the question.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Mahfouz Al-Hafiz bin Musa, second semester of law of ICOL, Ahmad Kuliah of Laws. Okay, actually I'm quite a bit confused. Okay, because I do not know where this forum going to. Okay, the direction of this forum. Okay, my question is from legal perspective. Okay, the question is okay, let's say. Okay, because section 377 is a conduct crime. Okay, when it's conduct crime, so let's say, so long as a homosexual is a homosexual but never practice homosexualism, okay, so he is not a criminal and still immoral. Okay, so let's say in a situation I give you, before that I pose the question to Kasham. Okay. Okay, let's say a homosexual but never practice homosexualism goes to a job interview and be rejected because he is homosexual, regardless he never practice homosexualism. So can he go to tribunal and prosecute this employer for on the ground of discriminating sexuality? Okay, so if the answer is yes, so aren't this decision actually recognizing homosexuality in Malaysia? That's the question. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Your name again?
Mahfouz.
Mahfouz. Thank you, Mahfouz. Next question, please. If any. Name and from where and to which speaker?
Assalamualaikum. My name is Shahira. I have a question for Dr. Shamrahayu. I think up until this point we've heard that homosexuality is in fact immoral, therefore it is a crime. But at this point, I'm still wondering, why is it immoral when the other side is still arguing that as long as both parties are happy, the argument of pursuit of happiness, right? Then hence it should be moral, hence it shouldn't be a crime. So perhaps can you enlighten us further why this act is immoral to begin with, for argument's sake, right? Number one. Number two, for Mr. Lim, I apologize. I was wondering, like, I agree and concede to the fact that one shouldn't be persecuted based on, one has a right not to be persecuted or to be humiliated. I think we all deserve that kind of right. But your argument just now, you said that to an extent now what happened is that these individuals, communities of LGBTs are being persecuted or being humiliated in the sense that probably the officers, what we call it, the officers in the police department probably assaulting them, or while you're walking on the street, someone spat on you, or you're being battered or beaten by members of the public just because you're being gay. But now, tell us why the legal framework alone now isn't sufficient to cater this kind of problem. Because as of now, we have previous heard under penal code, we have murder if it went up to that problem. We have battery, or even you can, as a person, lodge a complaint in the court, civil suit. Thought perhaps, sir, and even if went to the extent whereby you are dismissed by your employer, tell us why it isn't sufficient under the employment law for you to lodge an unlawful dismissal at the IRD or the Labour Department. So why to this extent, what exactly the rights that you're trying to claim? Because as of now, I don't see the real problem. So are you now trying to, perhaps, probably in the future, are you now trying to push for recognition of gay marriages in Malaysia, or recognition of gay couples being able to adopt, perhaps? Because now, if you argue that it is a right, these are rights that can be pursued in the future. So, thank you.
Hi, my name is Prithvi, and I'm from India, and this is my 3rd day in Malaysia. And I would like to say it's the same debate was in India like 5 years ago. Okay? Uh, and then 2009 Section 377 in India was decriminalized. And then recently this year again, due to, in the name of religion, again there were some problems. But also stating the fact that our government shut it down because India is a secular country and you cannot use any particular religion as a tool to. Thank you. And you cannot use any particular religion as a tool to put your personal propaganda in terms of the constitution. And also, if you look really at religion, lots of religion are represented in their own ways, in their own readings. Okay, so that's one thing I just wanted to state. And second of all, to the honorable lady in the center, what I wanted to say is, you said that we need touchstones for civilization to grow, and no evolution happens if you're going to draw a line or a boundary. Evolution has happened because boundaries have been crossed, boundaries have been changed. And also, my other question, which... Yeah. Okay, and my other question is an open question. Okay, so we are talking about the right for Malaysia and the law for Malaysia right now. So, but still, we are stuck with the Victorian law. So, my question is, what are you seeking for? What are you asking for? Do you still want to be in a Victorian hangover? That's my question.
Thank you. Actually, we have enough questions as of now. We have 3 questions.
Sorry, I have a comment to make.
Okay.
My name is Nabila Nasir, and I'm not a law student. I'm not a lawyer. I work in international public health. Sorry, thanks. I'm obviously short. I work in international public health. I work in a regional office of International Planned Parenthood Federation, where we have clinics all over the world, and I work in a regional office where we work in 26 countries in Asia Pacific. And Mr. Lim just now said something very interesting that I would like to comment on, because he said these laws hinder HIV/AIDS work, and it's very true, because when we work on the ground, we see that in Malaysia, HIV/AIDS work is very successful because we work specifically with injecting drug users. So we see the infection with injecting drug users going down, but with cases of men having sex with men, it goes up because of the criminalization of homosexual acts, yeah, or acts that you correlate with homosexuality. And in countries like India and Hong Kong, where they've repealed this, has gone down. So in countries like Malaysia and Nigeria, where there is a criminalization, the graph just keeps going up, and it stays there. So yeah, I must say there is a correlation between law and public health. And Netherlands has one of the lowest HIV infections in the world.
Thank you, Ms. Nabila. Thank you for that fact. So, any speaker would like to start? I think can you start with Mr. Lim, please?
I forgot to address the positive-negative dichotomy, which the South African Constitutional Court actually uses quite often in its interpretation of the 96 Constitution. When you talk about positive obligation of the state, it is not a positive obligation of the state to interfere, restrict, but it is a positive obligation of the state to facilitate. So that is the analysis. Okay. To Shahira, I think you asked a question, and your question is, isn't the present law sufficient to deal with perpetrators of persecution, humiliation, etc., on members of the LGBT community? The answer is yes and no. Yes, the laws are there, No, because of stigmatization and the threats of prosecution against them. Legal Aid Center throughout Peninsula, we do get cases of members of this community where they are harassed by enforcement agencies, where they are also then forced to perform certain sexual favors to members of the enforcement agency. Unfortunately, they just don't want to pursue the complaint because of that very stigmatization. That's the problem, you see. And this stigmatization relates to the whole issue which the other speaker talked about on public health issue. Yes. And sorry, and as to where I am going, I'm going nowhere. I'm staying put in this country. Even I myself, when I look, because I read various materials on human rights on the issue of, you raised the whole issue of saying, do I support same-sex gay marriages? Of course, Bar Council doesn't. We had this debate in council, and me on a personal level, I also don't know the answer to that. All right? But what I do know is simply this, that nobody, because of their sexual orientation or identity, should be punished. That is what I do know for sure.
I don't know whether we should be in a totalitarian, we give a totalitarian without any state intervention. I doubt. Arguably, I would say states has some role to play, and or a greater role to play rather than individuals, because totalitarianism would lead to tyranny, and the minority will be tyrannied by the majority, if that is the case. But somehow, I believe in the state interference, the response to the positive or negative connotation. Okay, to answer the questions from Brother Al-Hafiz, whether there's a tribunal to entertain your case if you've been discriminated. That's what I've said in the earlier, at the beginning. I said, I don't want somebody, let's say, I hold a bank. I have a treasury of money. I will not hire a gambler. Do I have the right, or do I have the duty to, or the obligation to hire somebody who comes, which I don't believe. Let's say I'm running a kindergarten. Do I have a right, or do I have a duty to take somebody who is morally ungodly attitude to be in my kindergarten? I would. You ask yourself. I would, as an individual. I will not take a maid who I know that he will probably, or this person will not morally good behavior. I would. Personally, I would. I'm not sure about my brothers here, but I, as a mother, I will not have somebody who's homosexual, for instance, to be a teacher in my kindergarten or to take care of my children. I'm worried. And for Shahira, it depends on how we define what is morality to us. What is morality to us? And if you ask me as a Muslim, I would say what is sinful in Islam, therefore it becomes immoral. If not a crime, it becomes immoral. That I relate to a discussion. Let's say somebody was saying a consensual, victimless crime is any adults if any adults commit certain unnatural sexual relations, claims that that is my privacy, that is my right. But I would say, is that moral? So you ask yourself between you and God whether this is sinful or not. So that is my touchstone. I'm happy our brother from just touched down in Malaysia for 3 days. Welcome to Malaysia. I'm happy that we are left behind in this situation. We are left behind for 5 years. I'm happy. Why I'm happy with? For God's sake, it's not a welcome, it's not a pleasant meeting to talk about whether it is sinful to my religion to discuss this as a right. I said at the very beginning, it's quite unpleasant to me be sitting here. I don't want to talk about this. I'm a very traditional woman and happily married with normal, personally speaking, I'm a very traditional woman in a way because I believe in straight. What straight is natural. What to me is straight. So when I talk about touchstone, I mean it positive. We shift, the evolution we take must be something for the better. The evolution, the renaissance, the changes we made must be for the better. That was my question, whether where are we heading the nation? Where are we going to? Is it for personal liberty or for peaceful nation and civilization to sustain? Is that what where are we heading to? If we think that we want to go for personal liberty, we have all this and we want to claim that it's all everybody's right and in totalitarianism, go ahead if the majority wants. That's what democracy is all about. But I will remain a minority. And so we go to the graph in United States of America, graph those initially America, those 15 years ago, most Americans disagreed to homosexuality. But in year 2011, America has to support the resolution of the United Nations because the people want it to happen. So if the Malaysian, but now the percentage is 46-44. 46 is for, 44 is against homosexuality. That is the graph developed. There's a fact, there's a data. So somehow, if the nation wants it to happen, I will remain in the minority. It doesn't matter because, let's say, Muslims progressive wants to say that this is the interpretations of Surah Al-A'raf verses 81 to 84, verses 80, verses 30, whatever verses you have in the Quran, as a Muslim, that is immutable. There are rules which are very clear and immutable, whatever development of human nation. We cannot say that what is clearly prohibited in Islam could be an archive. It's not an absolute. The Muslim believe that it will remain to the last day. So what my conclusion to your comment is that all evolutions must be for the good. And the touchstone is for the good. Thank you for the comment from Sister Nabila Nasir. Thank you.